Hello and welcome to another video. Sahara are back with another case. This is the P10 Sync. It's a full-size ATX MIDI tower case with addressable RGB, a tempered glass side panel, all for less than £50. Let's have a look. The P10 Sync is predominantly a steel construction with a matte black plastic front with this RGB accent lighting down the middle. Looks nice, but the restricted airflow may be a little bit of a concern. The only intake vents on the front are these at the bottom here. It is a decent size intake, but there's no dust filter, so dust may get into the case that way. Moving to the top, there's one USB 3 and two USB 2 connectors, usual headphone and microphone jacks, power and hard drive LEDs, the power reset switches and an RGB switch which connects to the included controller, which allows you to easily change between the 55 LED effects. Further back there's a magnetic dust filter covering the top fan mounts. Now these are offset to one side to move the fans away from the motherboard slightly. This will support two 120mm fans or one 240mm radiator. Looking at the back of the case, moving up from the base, you have the PSU mounted here at the bottom. Then there's 7 PCI brackets, all of which are the breakout type. And above those is a 120mm exhaust fan mount. Now this comes complete with an included 120mm Sahara Pirate Turbo RGB fan, which you can see there. Next to that is the I/O cutout on the back. Now if you look at all of these, you can see that they, like the top fans, are offset slightly. Now this is down to the amount of space behind the motherboard for cable management. So let's go round to the rear side panel and have a look at that. As you can see, the panel is just plain black steel with no cutouts and is held on by 2 thumb screws. Now these are very easy to remove. So now it's off, you can see that there's a really good amount of space here for cable management. There are 2 SSD mounting points, and below here you can see the back of the PSU shroud, which is split into 2 areas. On the left is a riveted in hard drive cage with these removable hard drive caddies. These are made of plastic and can take a 3.5-inch hard drive completely toolless. Or you can fit a 2.5-inch drive here, either a hard drive or SSD, simply by screwing in to these areas on the bottom. The right hand side of the shroud area houses the PSU. Now the space here is limited at just 200mm, but I didn't find any problem using a Corsair CXM semi-modular power supply in there. But anything bigger than that is definitely going to be a bit tight. Now looking up from there, you can see the addressable Rgb Sync Controller. And also included to complement this is a remote control. Now you can have it with just the remote, so you can control the fans or the LEDs with the remote, or you can use the LED button on the top to cycle through the different options of LEDs. Now you can also, if you have a motherboard which has an addressable RGB controller, you can attach it to that. You can also attach the fan part of the controller to the PWM control on the motherboard. Looking at the bottom of the case, it sits up on these 4 attractive feet, which gives a good space underneath for air to circulate and get into the case. There's a dust filter under the power supply, which just clips in like this. Now coming round to the tempered glass main side panel, it's a slightly tinted tempered glass and it's held on by these 4 thumb screws. They have small rubber grommets underneath to help protect the glass panel. So let's remove the panel now and let's have a look inside. When it's opened up, you can see there's a good amount of room in here. The specs say there's enough room for a 170mm CPU cooler and a 375mm long graphics card. You can see that the PSU shroud does indeed go full length across, and there's a cutout for cable management. There's some screw hole positions to mount a hard drive or SSD on top of there. You can also mount two SSDs going up the right hand side panel. I've actually only fitted one to this system, but you can get two in there. And as I say, there are holes for cable management, although they are missing any kind of rubber grommets, so they don't look all that great. Looking to the right of the inside at the front, you can see there's enough room for 3 120mm or 2 140mm fans, or up to a 280mm radiator. Also looking at the front, you can see that the inside of the thin front LED strip is actually quite wide. Now this gives off a nice amount of light inside, so if you don't mount any fans or radiators to the front, there's no need for any extra LED strips to light up the inside of your system. So I've done a test build in the case. Let's see how that went. Now for this build I also used two of Sahara's latest fans, the Duo Ring 120mm fans. Now I've put them as intake at the top of the case to help with airflow. Now they look great from both the inside and the outside. The build went pretty smoothly in the main, with cable management being a little bit of a mixed result. At the top, the cables come through a hole in a small ledge which is at the top of the motherboard. Now this helps to hide them quite neatly without seeing the hole that they go through. But then to counter that, the cable management holes in the bottom on the PSU shroud aren't really in the best positions. In fact, there's only really one. The front panel audio cable and the RGB cable that comes from the AMD stock cooler have to run along the bottom there. You can see it right there. Now this isn't great, and the GPU power cable has to come from the same hole. So that comes up through there. Now you could put it through one of the side holes there, but there isn't really that much room, and it does make it look a little untidy. I'd have liked to see them put the cable management hole around about here. It'll look nicer coming up straight up and into the graphics card. Now, looking at the back, it's not the neatest job in the world. For a quickly put together system, I suppose it's okay. It's not noticeable, and the case closes with no problems. So to summarise, what do I think? Well, I've been really impressed with Sahara's cases of late. The quality of them easily surpassed the price point. And the P10 keeps in with that trend, no problem. Looks great on the desk, and the Sahara turbo fan that it comes with is really quiet. Does a great job of moving air out of the case, and I've been really impressed. Well, I'll leave a link to the Sahara P10 in the description below so you can check it out in more detail or pick one up for yourself. Please don't forget to use our Amazon, Overclockers or GearBest links, as they do help to keep the channel going. So give this video a like if you liked it. Got loads more videos coming very soon. Best way not to miss any of those is to subscribe below. It doesn't cost a thing. So thanks for watching, and I will see you later.